Yeah, I think there are two things at least is very fascinating. One is you were asked to do one thing that the one thing actually never happened, and you were able to sort of navigate through that like objection or like very different direction guiding. So how were you able to stick to your own idea and find out that the real problem is not the one you were asked to implement? And how did you sort of working along with those kind of objection and still be able to make progress and eventually be able to demonstrate to folks and convince other people to jump on board. I think that's just aside from how amazing Apollo is, that process is also quite incredible.
It would be easy for me to tell this as a hero's story, but it's not. And I think that it's that treating things as hero stories makes it harder for other people to actually learn how to get stuff done. So, there were a lot of elements. One was I went with my intuition that this wasn't the right answer, but I did it by bringing others into the idea and being willing to share just a really fuzzy idea with some folks first. So it's not like I sat in my head and developed this brilliant idea of what we should build and then birthed it on the world. I sat down with two good brainstorming friends and we figured out what should we be doing together? What kind of problem are we actually trying to solve? I think the lone genius is very very common in our environment. The other thing is we didn't try to justify a big team. We built the first Apollo with the three of us and a handful of other coders in our team, and we did it by me, I was the manager at the time, choosing to stop other work. So I think also people have a tendency to want to build everything at once. They want to build this massive framework. They're thinking too big at the start. And we built something that solved a very clear isolated problem. We had all of the theory worked out, but we didn't build things we didn't have to build. We were heavily influenced by an early project manager I worked with who called it the Jedi principle. You make just enough decisions to implement. And so anytime we hit something, we would actually stop. If we were arguing, we'd stop and go, well, wait, hang on. Do we actually have to decide this now? Or can we kick this down the road? And so that helped us avoid getting too tied up in philosophical arguments. We also had very different personalities. So I have a tendency to take any problem and expand it to include the known universe and theorize about the unknown universe. And I had someone on the project who was very, very good at going, yeah, but no, 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 let's focus on this one thing to solve. And so that combination of personalities helped keep us on a good track. And finally, we didn't try to ever mandate the use of it. So we didn't run into the kinds of fighting you sometimes get. We just went after what customers wanted it. Um, and that there's one other element that I didn't realize at the time that took me a while to learn. I was initially asked to own website push while solving the problem. And I thought, what a terrible idea. Why should I own the old thing? I am in charge of the brave new world. And there were a few things I learned from that. One, the old icky was once the new shiny. And recognizing that this thing that you're replacing was once humanity's greatest hope. It was the thing that was going to be amazing. Even if the creators knew that there were warts and stuff. This was a cool thing once, and respecting that history matters. And also, if you don't own the old thing, you can't learn the ways in which it's successful or not successful, and you can get too caught up in your own head. Solutions we build to last are not based on things we come up with in our head, they're based on actual observation and implementing solutions to that. And finally, we weren't precious about our code. There is no I cannot imagine there are any original lines of code left in Apollo, which is also now externalized as AWS Code Deploy. If there are, I'm very sorry for them. Excuse me. If there are, I'm very sorry that there are any original lines of code left. You know, as it needed to evolve, we evolved it. As it needed to change, we changed it. And we had some spectacular outages. We designed for as much resiliency as we could. We technically took down the website during code freeze one year over Christmas. Um, but